Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde, Jean-Guy Bourguignon on EFA17 on this Tuesday, April 14th. Today I want to, questions, right? Answer the question. Just answer the question. And why? Why are people asking all these questions? They're asking all these questions because of everything that's going on. Stuff that I've talked about several weeks ago on different episodes and the different videos and that kind of stuff, and I've talked about it, is obviously happening, right? People, and I've said this before, I speak from experience, knowledge, training, and experience. I speak from experience because I've walked those shoes. I've walked different lanes in my lifetime. I've walked 27 years in the lanes of government. I've walked 30 years in the lanes of business. And a lot of the stuff that's happening is just progression. It's just progress, right? When you look at contingency plans, you look at all that stuff. And right now, questions are being asked, and the people are asking, answer the question. I'm talking grassroots here. I'm talking across our nation, from sea to sea, and I'm talking about different countries here. That you guys are going through the exact same thing we are. Where I was on the phone yesterday with a business dealing that I was dealing with somebody in California, and we're exchanging notes just on conversation because people want to know. People want to know what's going on in your city, what's going on in your city, and here's what's going on across the cities. Law-abiding, honest, providing members of society are getting ticketed. That's what's happening. Family member, yesterday's in the news, I believe it was Oakville in the GTA area, a family of 4 went out rollerblading together. I'm assuming they drove and they went out rollerblading together here in an empty parking space. You can pull up the story, but they ended up with an $880 ticket. And then you're going to have two sides of the story, like everything else in life, right? The enforcement officer was supposedly asked him a question that you guys can't be here in the family. Why? We live together. We live under the same roof. We're rollerblading together. There's nobody around. We're in an empty open space. Ta-da, here's an $880 ticket, right? But that's not unique. And I don't want to bring this up because, again, I believe in rules and regulations. I believe in measurement procedures. I believe in laws, and I believe in guidance, and I believe in narrowing lanes, and I believe in all that for a democratic society. I also believe in balance. You're going to hear me talk about that, the grassroots, the commonality, the balance, the pendulums of life, and there's a balance. And this, when I look at the grassroots across this nation, and people are getting tickets across the country, now we're encouraging neighbors to call on neighbors, right? Call on this person, call on that person. People are doing that. There's people out there, and I've talked about this in previous episodes. There's people that love to be the curtain FBI, the curtain CIA, the curtain law enforcement, the enforcement officers, right? They love to call on people. Enforcement agencies have to act on it. That's their job. If they got a call, they got a complaint, they have to act on it. So you got people calling in, you got people responding, and then when they respond, they end up giving tickets because that's their job. They have quotas, right? Quotas. We cities out there reporting they're losing $1 million a day. There's all this stuff going on, commonality across this country. And then you have these enforcement officers that are going out there ticketing people, ticketing families, like simple thing. And they say you can't walk, stop. You can walk with your dog, but you just can't stop with your dog, right? If you stop with your dog, make sure they're only doing their duties. Don't throw a ball, don't throw a frisbee, because it might bring somebody else to the conversation, and then you're passing on. I understand all that. But when you have families of 4 that are separate and apart, and somewhere just because they're being questioned, maybe somebody called on them, by the way, and then some of the law enforcement agencies show up, and then just because they're interacting in conversation, I don't like the way you're talking to me, here's your ticket. I just met my quota. And that's what's happening across our nation. And people are asking why. People are asking, when are we going to reopen our businesses? When are we, the grassroots, the foundation of our nation, are going to be able to reopen our businesses to provide for our families? And we're ready to do it properly. We're ready to do it with measuring procedures. We're ready to do it with personal protective equipment and face coverings. That if the government helps us out, if you help us out, we can get the wheels rolling again. We can get back to business. There's today one of the Canadian companies that looked like got approved for one of the testings. There's a device out there that'll tell you if you have COVID-19, just like that. Right, and I believe that got approved if you want to look that up. But there's all these measurement procedures, all this equipment, all these things that businesses will need help with, correct? But they're ready to start. They're ready to participate. They're ready to cooperate. And they're asking when. They're asking why this and why that. Why is there such a variations of answer out there, right? So this is where I'm going to talk to the ministers of our provinces. I'm talking to the ministers of each provinces here in Canada, and do the same. Ask the same questions. Ask the same questions to politicians, but I'm speaking to the ministers of our provinces in Canada. And I hope that you put measures, procedures in place that'll govern a balanced outcome. When you look at people getting tickets, families of four that live under the same roof, and they're getting ticketed $880 plus surcharge, plus surcharge. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of I'm hearing these $1,500 tickets. I'm hearing these $1,200 tickets, and I know there's surcharges and an administration fee and victim surcharge fee. There's all these fees. So there's always fees. We live in a nation of fees and taxes, right? They're separate, but they go into the same pot. But we have fees and taxes and all these abracadabras of extractions, right? We have a lot of that. And all these things, and I hope there's a balance out there. I hope there's a balance out there when I look at the enforcement, the governance of enforcement. When I look at the decision makers, the people that can basically rule in certain favors, that they use that balance. They use that balance and say, these law-abiding citizens that are cooperating and participating and doing everything they can, and it's a beautiful day today, and I want to go, like, if I want to go out with my family, my wife and two daughters, and if I want to go out on a bike ride on our public street, am I allowed? If I want to go out with my family, my wife and two daughters, and if it's 30 degrees on Sunday, and I want to get on my bike and pedal up and down the street, do I have to worry that somebody can call on us? Do I have to worry that somebody can stop me and engage in conversation? If they don't like my answer, I get a ticket? Do I have to worry about that? Answer the question, right? The rules are too gray. They're too vague, and they allow for a lot of these things to happen. People have enough stresses. People have enough on their plates, and people that have enough on their minds, with their families, with everything going on grassroots, that they don't have to worry to go outside if they're participating, if they're covering their faces, if they're staying within their nest, if they're staying within those that they can stay with, and they want to go and take a walk with somebody, they should be able to, not having the fear of being ticketed. So answer the questions. Ministers of our provinces, please make sure that you push down, like we always push up, push down some good governance for balanced decision makers, so that the grassroots can feel that they're being heard, and that they can also be heard that they want to go back, right, with measures and procedures. They want to cure, which we all do, but there's measures out there that could help them go back with measures and procedures while they're still providing for their family and protecting their family. There's ways of doing it, right? So please, Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA17, answer the question.